From the shadows of the underground, where every riff tells a story, and every note leaves a scar.
Legends and lore, breaking down classics and so much more. Metal, goth, punk, and everything between, exploring the music that shaped the scene. Maniacal music, musers. Maniacal music, musers. Where darkness meets distortion.
You're listening to Maniacal.
Welcome back, everybody, to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, here to remind you that the monsters aren't living under your bed because they're the voices in your head. You know, I'm paranoid as hell after winning all the devil's gold during the Trials of a Warrior. I won, by the way. I made it safe to shore through the tempest and waves to be your favorite popular monster, even though all my life I fucked up and I can't deny that. Especially this week. Holy fuck. But enough about me. Let me introduce the man, the myth, the legend, my co-host. He's another popular monster who needs no prequel to watch the world burn. He hails from Thandronadal, where he met Jack the Stripper before he drowned in Little Rivers. I think there's alcohol involved. I don't know how he drowned in Little River, but he did. He now roams the earth, zombified, after his electric funeral where all the war pigs turned him into an Iron Man. He spends his days with Ronald complaining about how fairies wear boots. I don't get what it's about, but whatever. We love him. CJ motherfucking playing the music god himself, everybody.
What up, bro?
Yeah, I already know I got CJ in a mood tonight because of my choices. So we'll get to that in a little bit, though. Welcome back, everybody. We are being joined by, well, he's basically an honorary muser at this point because you recognize him from pretty much every bracket we fucking do on both shows. Welcome officially to a regular episode of Musers, Mr. Man Mountain Rock, a.k.a. Maxx motherfucking Payne.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I man, when you offered and I realized what's going on with this, you know, I knew CJ's going to be in it. You're going to be in it. I knew that there was going to be plenty of fun, maniacal music, meanderings, and fucking all that goes along with it. And I couldn't wait. So I'm so honored to be here with both of you talking about my favorite subject, music.
And for all you folks who know me, my love of alliteration, that's a fucking alliteration, Woody, what he just did. Fuck. But, folks, well, for those who don't know, Maxx Payne, back in his WCW days, had a guitar always with him because he was a musician and wrestler, which there's only been a few of those, and we don't like Jeff Jarrett in this show, so we stick with Maxx Payne. But
thank you.
Tell you, seeing Jerry get that guitar over his head every time was the best thing in the world. But and I heard he's an asshole in real life too, but I don't know about that. But tell us, Max, tell us a little bit about your life and music. Tell us about why music is so important to you.
You know, it's amazing because from the time I was born, I was an oops baby. My mother and father, my next closest brother to me is 12 years older than me. And my parents were convinced they were finished until I fucking showed up in their life. And my mother always wanted one of my brothers to be a musician, but they were all assholes and none of them would take fucking piano lessons or anything. And so my mother, from the very beginning of my life, tried desperately to get me to be a musician. She gave me piano lessons starting when I was 4 years old, and I was just a fucking asshole. You know, I I wasn't about to fucking sit down and practice the piano. And, you know, she tried which to this day I regret horribly, because if I would have done what she asked me to do, I would have been a concert pianist, you know, but I didn't. But instead, she did have a profound influence on me. She played classical music to me from the beginning of my life. And then one day I was going through, she'd thrown all my brother's records out of the house. I was basically an only child, and I found a Little Richard record. It was Tutti Frutti. And my life from that, you know, I know, CJ, I know you're laughing, because the truth of the fucking matter is, man, you know, there's a lot of greats out there, and Little Richard to this day does not get the credit he deserves, man. That motherfucker was, he was something else. And my mother did not want me to listen to that, but she couldn't stop me. The hook was in. The instant I heard fucking Tutti Frutti, I started listening. And then my brothers, all my brothers listened to, you know, the Beach music of the time. The Beach Boys were fucking huge. Tommy James and the Shondells, I listened to them like nonstop from the time when most people don't even know what a fucking 4-track is, but there was a machine prior to an 8-track called a 4-track. And my brother had a 1958 fucking Dodge with a 413 and a cross ram induction in that motherfucker, and a 4-track. And we would drive around and listen to the best of Tommy James and the Shondells. And I just started, I always fucking loved music. And then my nephew, I have a nephew, because I was such an oops. I have a nephew who's 5 years older than me. So it was always funny, you know, here he's my fucking nephew, and he would call me Uncle Daryl, and I was fucking, you know, 5 years younger than him. So it was always funny. And so, but he introduced me right from the beginning of my life to fucking T-Rex and Alice Cooper and David Bowie and Grand Funk, and, you know, all of the typical fucking bands that were hitting really hard in the early 70s. And then I got introduced to Kiss and Alice Cooper, and one of my favorites, the album of choice for me today, Black Sabbath, and my life was forever changed. From that moment on, I became a completely fucking different person, and I loved the heavy metal scene like a fucking madman from the time like I said, the instant I heard fucking Tutti Frutti, my life changed forever. But that's not to take away from fucking Moonlight Sonata and Appassionata and Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition and the Firebird Suite and Holt's the Planets. And, you know, so my spectrum and my love of music is very, very broad. I just love music.
Well, shit, yeah, and trust me, we're all fans of Little Richard on this show. Everybody's favorite power bottom, but I fucking.
So, interesting story. When I was 15, one of the first people that I ever got to open for as a musician, we won a battle of the bands, and we got to open for Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh my God, the killer!
Who you know is known to be cantankerous at best.
I was gonna say he's pretty infamous.
And as we were performing in the last song, I looked over to the left. We were on like one of the stages, like the wagon type stages they use for festivals. I looked to my left, and he was standing at the top of the steps watching us.
Oh, wow.
And my brain was like, fuck, that cannot be good that he got off the bus. Yeah, right. So as we finished, as we were walking to go off stage, he stuck his hand out, and I shook his hand, and he looked at me and he goes, you know, for a bunch of kids, you don't actually suck. And I was like, you know what? I will take that. Coming from you, probably as close to a compliment as somebody could get.
It could have been a fucking shitload worse, right?
But that was, yes. So I have a sort of a similar.
Oh, it's brilliant, dude.
Not Little Richard, but sort of the same.
Hey, absolutely the same.
Right up there.
You know,
Right up there. Right up there.
you know what it is? You know what it is about Little Richard?
Music.
You know what it is about Little Richard, man? And I there's any singer that has this. Dion is another guy that has this. Is that fucking that timbre and that resonance in their voice.
Yeah.
People like Aretha Franklin that have that next level of resonance in their voice that when they scream, man, I just fucking love it. And Little Richard to me was like, he just, epitomized that
Oh, God, yeah.
that next level of the great fucking scream in rock and roll.
Oh, God, he started everything. He
Didn't
started
he?
and he brought over all the bands from Europe that freaking became huge.
Right.
The Beatles and everybody else was all because of Little Richard.
Yeah, absolutely.
He earned his place in history. I have a Little Richard bracket. It's on the list. But
Nice.
But well, tell us, Max, what album did you want to bring tonight, and why this one?
I thought about all the choices, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna start off being on this show with you guys with a band that the first time I heard them, I went, it was like the first time I heard Alice Cooper, the first time I heard Kiss. We all have that moment when you listened to a band and from the moment you heard the first fucking note, not 3 notes, not 5 notes, the first fucking note that you heard from that band, you went, oh, I'm going to love this. I can already tell this is who I am. And my nephew, he was an amazing, like I said, he was a profound influence on me. And he had a 1968 Le Mans convertible. And back in 1968, the General Motors Corporation did this fucking real crazy thing where they for like a couple of years, they painted a bunch of their cars this really fucking ugly satin blue finished paint that you couldn't shine it, you couldn't put wax on it, you just washed it, but it was cool as fuck because it required very little care, but it made the car look so amazing. Like it had this really different level of texture. So he had a 1968 Le Mans convertible with a Bowman 8-track in it and 5.5-inch round speakers in the door. And this was in Fortuna, California, a little teeny town in the very northern part of the state of California, famous for the redwood mills. And we would go cruising around. And I opened up his 8-track box, and he arranged all of his shit alphabetically, and he had 2 or 3 Black Sabbath albums. He had the first Black Sabbath album, the second one. I think by then Master of Reality was out. But I said, wow, Black Sabbath, who are they? And he said, give me Paranoid. And he stuck Paranoid in. And from the moment I started listening to it, I was hooked. And it's one of those albums that every single track on it is just, it's a masterpiece. And the whole album is a masterpiece. And Black Sabbath, on top of that, most bands are lucky to have one masterpiece album, let alone, the first five, actually the first six Black Sabbath albums. You could argue that all of them are fucking masterpieces from beginning to end. But Paranoid has just so much greatness in it. It just seemed to be the perfect song for me to introduce myself to this show with you and CJ and just be able to go, hey, because I knew you both would know it without, even having to listen to it. And so I chose Black Sabbath Paranoid because Black Sabbath, of all the bands, and I loved Cooper, I loved Bowie, I loved them all, but Black Sabbath probably had more influence and more impact on me musically than anybody. And Paranoid, to me, it's not my favorite Black Sabbath album either. It really isn't. I think I'd have to say Sabotage is my favorite Black Sabbath album. But Black Sabbath Paranoid, to me, just stands up to the test of time. And with the recent passing of Ozzy, it just seemed like a great album that it's easy to choose. You could pick any of the songs off of them to be your favorite five. And it just seemed like the perfect way for me to say, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually 150 plus episodes at this point, I think, and no Sabbath, no Cooper ever brought on.
No!
I can't choose what the guests bring on, and they just never wrote down anything I wanted to match Sabbath or Cooper with.
Well, then you're going to have me on a bunch more times because I will gladly share. I've had some other fun shit that I would love to share with you.
I mean, yeah, it definitely will happen.
Good.
Guests drop off all the time, so we always need fill-ins at some points. But
I'm there for you, brother.
We are booked out to August at this point, as of this morning, so that's pretty fucking cool.
Well, that's good for you.
Yeah, it's not hard to find guests that like music, but hard to keep them actually coming and showing up. But that's a different story.
Right?
But yeah, I mean, we've had like 3 Bowie albums brought on, but this is the first Sabbath album, and Cooper hasn't been brought on yet, which is a shame. But
I'll fix that.
I'm gonna let CJ go first tonight, though, for reasons, and let us know what he thinks of Paranoid.
So Sabbath is a band I got into much later than other bands. I knew their main songs just from friends listening to them, but they were one of them bands I never really listened to. I guess, like I had friends who would listen to them, and you would hear, Iron Man and War Pigs and whatnot, but never intentionally sat down to listen to a Sabbath record until 1991.
Wow.
In 1991, I was sitting outside on my porch one day, plucking away at my bass, and the guy from upstairs walked by me, and as he was leaving, and he come back and he said, "Hey, you play that thing?" And I was like, "Little bit." He said, "Are you in a band?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "You want to be in a band?" Sure, why not? So he dragged me upstairs to meet his roommates. They had a band called Psychotic Therapy. And, Brennan, who was the guy who dragged me upstairs, phenomenal guitar player. They started playing these songs, and I was kind of just following along because I'm a mediocre bass player at best. Simple philosophy, keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing original stuff. And then they got to the point, I was like, "Do you guys do any covers?" "Oh, we only do one." "Okay, what's the cover?" He goes, "What do you know about Black Sabbath?" And I'm like, "Iron Man and War Pigs." "You ever heard Electric Funeral?" Never heard it. So they played me their version of Electric Funeral. And I was like, okay, that's a badass song.
Nice.
I like that fucking song.
Nice.
So I went downstairs and spent the next 24 hours learning how to play this
Electric Funeral.
And on that record that we recorded, I can send you a recording of it. We did one of the most brutal versions of Electric Funeral that you ever hear. So good, in fact, that 6 months later, we spent 2 weeks opening for Pantera. And when we finished the tour, Pantera went back to Texas and ripped off our version of Electric Funeral.
Oh my God.
Their fucking version that they put on the Sabbath, what was it, the Juggernaut record, or when they did the tribute to Sabbath?
Oh, yeah.
Pantera's
remember what the name of it is, but everybody played
Electric Funeral is almost fucking identical to the one we did a year and 6 months earlier than what they. So when people hear our version, well, you ripped off Pantera. No, Pantera ripped off. I've got the paperwork to show it, but I love this record. It's a great record. Not my favorite Sabbath record, but for what it is.
What is your favorite Sabbath record? You knew I was going to ask, motherfucker.
I don't know, man. Probably I like I know it's not an Ozzy one or a Dio one, but I'm actually a pretty big fan of Headless Cross.
It's
Headless Cross is one of the records.
I'm about to piss you off, but Powerwolf does an amazing cover of that song.
It would be in their style. But Headless Cross it came out around the time that I got into Sabbath. So when I started after Electric Funeral, as I started looking into them, I went and bought the newest one, and I think it was Headless Cross. And it was just like, okay, this is a kind of a cool record. It was heavier and whatnot. And Heaven and Hell is a really great. Mob Rules is a really great one too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of more of a fan of the Dio years than the Ozzy years. That's just because I'm a Dio fan, and I like.
I couldn't fucking wait for Heaven and Heaven and Hell didn't let down, man. I thought, how in the fuck you gonna replace Ozzy? And then Heaven and Hell came out, and I went, fucking hell. So, what's your favorite Sabbath album, Jeremy?
I actually really can't say. I never really got fully into Sabbath in my life. Like I mean, by the time I was old enough to know what music is and appreciate it, Sabbath was like kind of a non-entity. They were a thing of the past. Like I grew up hearing on the classic rock stations, like Electric Funeral, War Pigs, Iron Man, all the classics.
Paranoid. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't find out. I didn't hear Paranoid until recent years. But
to tell them Paranoid was probably the closest they ever came to a top 40 hit, because that was actually the only song I ever fucking played off of a jukebox.
I mean, top 40 hit maybe, but in the late 90s, early 2000s, the classic rock stations, they were not playing it. They were playing the three songs everybody knew, and that's basically
War Pigs, Fairies Wear Boots, Paranoid. Yeah.
Fairies Wear Boots. No, I never heard that till actually this week. So
really,
I'll tell you straight out, like they just didn't play that shit, or if they did, I didn't recognize that Sabbath at least. But yeah. So I mean, Sabbath, I never really dove into, and then I got into it a lot. I started getting into it a little bit when we did our 80s metal bracket like a while back. Like there was a bunch of Sabbath songs on there, and I mean, Zero the Hero is my favorite Sabbath song of all time. Like I love that fucking song. That's an amazing song. I mean, I like all the classics they did as well, but it's just a lot of them are so overplayed nowadays. I mean, Marvel turned Iron Man to a whole nother thing with that song.
Right, of course.
So, I mean, I love they did that and they put the two together, but it's just like all three of those songs are way overplayed. They've all been covered by so many fucking bands at this point. It's ridiculous.
That's true.
I mean, who is it? I think Rage Against the Machine does their version of War Pigs. Like it's pretty fucking.
There's 50,000 bands.
There. Oh, I know. But the one cover I really know off the top of my head is Rage Against the Machine, because Chance made me listen to that fucking album. But which wasn't a bad thing, but it's just I'm not a huge Rage fan. but they have a couple good songs. Killing in the Name of is like the only good song. The only song that I really will like.
Good shit.
Pound.
Know Your Enemy.
Yeah. I mean, what the hell is it called? March of something. What the fuck is it called? I can't think of it. But yeah, I mean, I actually never heard the whole Paranoid album in full until Tuesday.
Really?
I listened to the album for the most part on Tuesday, and then Spotify stopped working, and I had a lot of shit going on in my life this week, so that's why I had to postpone the show till a couple days. But I got through most of the album on Tuesday, and then I listened to like the last songs today. But I've never listened. I mean, I know 80% of Paranoid album just because of the songs that are on it. But other than that, I mean, there are a couple songs I didn't know at all. But I mean, it's a classic. It's a fucking classic. I mean, it's fucking Ozzy. You can never really go wrong with Ozzy. Yeah. I mean, I love his solo stuff. Like I have his 2 solo CDs in the 2000s. I own physical copies of both of those. But
yeah,
I just he got kind of pop metal towards the end. But
well, they add Zach to it, and it fucking turned it into a whole nother world again.
I mean, what do you expect though? He was a reality star at that point, so it is what it is. But I mean, and that's the funny thing is, I grew up with Ozzy Osbourne, the reality TV star, more than like the rock star. So that's the funniest thing about it. Like he was the butting heads off bats thing and all that shit. Like that was way before my time. And I mean, I only knew about that because of South Park. So, well, because he bites the head off Kenny in the one episode, the chef episode. But I mean, Paranoid's a good album. It's a really good album. I was happy someone finally brought Sabbath in the show. There's so many fucking more albums that people could bring, and no one does. I don't know why. There's a lot of bands I question that why people have never brought them. I'm like, and yet we get some of the most random bands I never heard of, and they're not that usually not that great. So I'm like, why the fuck are people bringing the classics? We get a few here, like sprinkled in here and there, but it's just like people don't bring as many classics as you think they would. But here's the fun part, as always, Max. If you had to pick a top 5 off this album, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to start with a song that it's so funny, and especially with CJ talking about bass, it is the one song that is dominated by the bass riff. Is The Hand of Doom has got to start my favorite. I that fucking song just fucking blasted me sideways, man. I don't know why, but it just did, and I loved it. The fucking rim shot drum beat that Bill is such an amazing fucking drummer, and just the softness of and to me it's that song that Ozzy's dynamics in his voice is so real and so present. There's not another song, I don't think, in all of the Black Sabbath repertoire that has the dynamic resonance that Hand of Doom does. And I just, from the moment I heard that song, it just fucking absolutely tripped my trigger. And I also, then I'd go second. I'm going to go again. I'm going to go with something fucking really weird. And it's because Pantera covered it and did it well. I saw Pantera live when I was working for WCW in Atlanta in '93. They played an outdoor venue and they covered Planet Caravan and fucking played it live. When they played it live, they fucking got stoned on stage. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a band that had the balls to actually fucking smoke weed live on stage. And I always thought that was fucking amazing. So, and in Planet Caravan's just one of those songs that when you're getting baked, you know, that's what I always loved about Sabbath. You know, Sabbath always had that one song that you could take your record into. My mother was born and raised LDS. And so, you know, but Sabbath always had that one fucking song that you could take into and say, hey, Mom, you got to listen to this Black Sabbath song. And she'd go, what? Black Sabbath, and then you'd play fucking like on Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. There's a song called Fluff on fucking Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and so you can take that classic mellow song that Sabbath does, and I'd play it to my mom, and she fucking inevitably, she always liked those mellow songs. So then third, I'm gonna have to go with War Pigs, because War Pigs is, I've heard critics talk about War Pigs and just the use of the language and where War Pigs really stood in terms of its protest. It's a really fucking powerful protest.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
It's just one of those really fucking so true fuck you to war bullshit songs that I just loved. And then I'm going to go with Fairies Wear Boots. And it's another one of those songs that just turned, like I said, the whole album is so amazing. And I'm going to, I had to go toss up for the last song between, I just went with Electric Funeral.
Yeah, but, yeah. I mean, how can you not? Well, I didn't, but how can you not? I
love Paranoid. I love all of those other songs, but that's just the way it hit me when I started thinking about my favorite 5 songs. There you go.
And CJ, what are your top 5 for?
I got War Pigs at number 5, Paranoid at number 4, A Hand of Doom at number 3, Iron Man at number 2, but number 1 is Electric Funeral because, like I said,
you covered it.
I covered it, and it's a great song. And that breakdown in the middle of that.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
And then it just, it's, all I can say is, when we're done here, Max, I'm going to get what your Facebook is so I can add you. And I will send you our version of it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Completely bonkers of a cover it is.
I can't wait to hear it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I threw Iron Man number 5 because it's just the most overplayed song they do. And I mean, I fucking love it because they actually wrote it about Marvel Comics. They actually wrote it about Iron Man, and that's
right.
When I learned that when I got into comics, I was like, "Are you serious?" Like I was like, "They really wrote that about the comics?" I didn't think they did. I thought that was like a war protest song kind of. But and my number 4 is War Pigs because just the fucking lyrics in that song are beyond belief.
Yeah,
generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Like
that's what that line, those 2 lines right there. You use the same word, yet they both grammatically have a completely different meaning.
Exactly. I mean,
it's so brilliant.
I mean, I don't know which of them actually wrote the lyrics. If it was actually Ozzy
Geezer wrote most of the lyrics for Black Sabbath.
I mean, it's a classic. It's a fucking classic. And then number 3, I had to do Electric Funeral because I mean, I didn't want to put any of those 3 in my top 1. I just didn't want to. But Electric Funeral is just amazing, and the guitar in it is fucking beyond belief good. And when Ozzy breaks down like in the middle of it and does like the whole electric funeral and like fucking does that for like 2 minutes straight, like it's fucking it's amazing. But number 2 is Paranoid. I mean, it's a newer song to me that I discovered about fucking Sabbath, and I love how fast it is.
Yeah,
like just the way it opens it. Like, and Ozzy singing "Somebody Help Me" is just like one of the most like the way he sings that is just perfect.
It's a great song.
It really is. Paranoid is fucking an incredible song. And my number 1 is the new song I discovered that I fucking love. And that's definitely Jack the Stripper and / Fairies Wear Boots. Because that's just the way that Jack the Stripper part is just a fun instrumental that fucking breaks into Fairies Wear Boots. And Fairies Wear Boots has some of the most incredible guitar I've ever heard in my fucking life. Like Tony Iommi is fucking incredible on guitar. He always has been. But I fucking
do you know about Iommi's near tragedy? It actually was a tragedy about his fingers. Do you know about the story about his fingers?
Oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah. You can't be into music and not know. You can't watch VH1 in the fucking 2000s and not know that story. But
Good. Okay. I just the fact
But-
that the last day of his job in a fucking steel mill and he fucking loses the tips of his fingers and then figures out how to fucking to me it's just so brilliant and so prophetic. And then in the end, we all know I'm not sure that Black Sabbath would be Black Sabbath had he not lost those fingertips, because it absolutely creates the sound that is so definitively Tony Iommi.
Yeah, I mean, Sabbath is incredible. I've heard songs from all the variations of them, and they're like, it's not a variation I really hate. I used to always, I always will say that I think Ozzy's the best version of Sabbath, just because it's the Sabbath that started it all, and Ozzy was the heart of Sabbath. And when he went solo, for a long time I refused to listen to anything else they ever did. Like once I discovered there was other stuff besides Ozzy Sabbath, I refused to listen to Dio or any of that shit, and I kind of regret that, because Dio is fucking incredible. I didn't discover that until the last year or two, but Dio is fucking incredible. And I always loved him in Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny, in the small scene he's in. But I always loved him. I always loved him coming to life in that poster and singing. But and shout out to Jack Black for fucking actually getting Dio and Meatloaf into a fucking scene with them. Jesus, that's a dream. But I mean, Sabbath is fucking incredible. So I mean, I knew when you brought that on, I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, he's bringing on a classic. That's always a fucking. It's always fun, but it's also always challenging, because it's like, what songs are we fucking picking? Like, it's like when the first Bowie album was brought on, they brought on Spiders of Mars, and it's just like fucking, oof, what songs do you pick? They're all
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, like the first Bowie album that got brought on the show was Ziggy Stardust, and it was just like, oof, that's gonna be fucking hard. That's a fucking hard one to pick a top 5 of, because it's all fucking good songs, but
Right.
But, folks, I think it's time. We're going to talk about the album that CJ decided to bring this week.
So I brought a record. I discovered this group on TikTok, and I was kind of blown away by what they did. So I looked them up and discovered they had an actual record that they had just released. And I thought, okay. I listened to the record and was like, damn, these guys are really different, but amazing. So it is a group called Fortress Dwellers. They are an all-black family Renfen troupe, I guess is the best way to describe them.
Renfen? What's Renfen?
So Renaissance festivals.
They
basically only perform at Renaissance festivals.
Gotcha.
They have their whole.
Are they Irish?
No, they're black. Actually, they're all black.
Yeah, but that wouldn't preclude them. That wouldn't preclude them from being Irish.
They're American. I don't know where in America they're from.
They're American. Wow.
But they're 4 brothers and a sister. Actually, they're 3 brothers, a sister, and I think a cousin. But they're really amazing. They have a record called Legends of Fate. And it kind of mixes like
Hey! 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 All of you now, let's do it! 1, 2, 3, hey! 1, 2, 3, hey! 1, 2, 3, hey! On the 4th of the year, on the 14th day, we set sail on the ship out to sea. I took my brother and my sister and my...
The Enya style stuff, and
it's funny you say that.
And some little bit of fantasy metal without it being metal.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's different.
So much to say.
Yeah, it's different, and it's fun, and it's really, there's a lot of talent in this group.
Yeah, obviously.
For being a younger group of kids.
Yeah.
So they're all over. They're on TikTok. They have a YouTube channel where you can watch them performing live and doing their thing. And they all have separate TikToks as well, where they post really fun, erratic stuff. Yeah, if you're into the whole Renaissance Festival, bards, knights, druids type of thing, these guys are amazing.
I mean, I'm in the Renaissance festivals just because of girls wearing tight tops with their tits hanging out, but that's me.
Push-ups. You're into push-ups.
They will be in Massachusetts at a Renfen in Massachusetts. So
I will I'll have to find out where, because Massachusetts is a big state and it might not be.
It is Carver, Massachusetts, at the King Richard's Fair.
Oh,
10th, 11th, 17th, 18th, 24th, 25th, and 26th.
I've been to King Richard's Fair. It's down the South Shore where my wife is from.
Yes, that's where they will be.
I don't know if we're going. Well, I'll have to see what day it is to see if that could work. That's a good hour to hour and a half drive, but we'll see. There are certain days every couple of weeks where I'm down the South Shore, so we'll see. But Max, what did you think of Fortress Dwellers?
I was a couple years ago, I was fortunate enough to go see the Young Dubliners live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they played at a little gig in Salt Lake City at, I think it was called the Union Station in Salt Lake. And there was probably only 200 people there, but they were fucking amazing. And the guy who took me, he's really Irish, I mean, really fucking Irish. So, I loved being engaged in the family Irish tradition of the Young Dubliners and loving sort of the whole backbone of Irish music and, the sound of that style of music. And I fucking loved that concert. And from the moment I started listening to this record, I couldn't help but have that same kind of feeling that they bring that sort of Young Dubliners Irish folk music to the table, and then they add their own flair to it. And then I loved it's funny because in my 5 the 2 instrumentals are my two of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
I really loved The Sad King. I thought that was just fucking, I love great piano tunes that just appeal to your heart at that level. So and then it's so funny because you brought up the fact that they sound like they could be, I expected there to be metal breakdowns in them, and there are none, yet I believe it's I think I've got this right. I think it's Trials of the Warrior.
Yeah.
That really feels like a fucking heavy metal song without being heavy metal. And I really fucking dug that, and that was the part that to me just really makes you go, oh wow, these guys. So they have this incredible range. And then I went and tried to read about them, and they talked about them in terms of video games, and I didn't understand a lot of the language because I'm not a video game guy, but they talked about them in that voice, and I really just loved the broad range from instrumental to a heavy metal song that isn't heavy metal. So I really enjoyed it. I love this kind of great folk music that brings, and they're good at it. And now when you told me it's an all black family, that makes it even that much more astonishing.
Yeah, that's what caught my attention, because you go to Renfest, there's a good mix of people, but you don't see like black African American performers that much,
right?
And to see a group of them that's family and perform the way they do, I was kind of like, okay, it sets them apart, and they're very, very talented. Regardless of race, but it's just something that it's a unique thing, and
And then you listen to Little Rivers, and you get to hear this beautiful, an angelic black woman's voice.
Oh yeah.
Singing this beautiful song that just fits right into the album, but you kind of go, wow, what a fucking dynamic, broad change. And so, yeah, I loved it. It was really, I listened to it with my wife, and we both just sit there just really, really enjoying it. And I think the thing I loved about it the most is, like with any great folk music, is don't we all love that, like the Young Dubliners, is because it's great storytelling.
Yep.
Within music, and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah. What can I say about this shit? Let's see. When I saw the album cover, I'm like, oh, CJ's bringing some fantasy metal. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly what I thought, man.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, all right, CJ's bringing some symphonic fantasy metal because he knows that's my shit.
Exactly what I thought.
He knows that's my shit, so he's gonna fucking surprise me with a new band or some shit. And I started listening to the album, and I'm like, all right, nice instrumental that started off the album. I'm like, waiting for the second song to start. I'm like, all right, here comes the fucking heavy ass guitar. And I was like, after a couple songs, I'm like, where's the fucking guitar? What is this? And like I was kind of shocked at first, but I'm like, this reminds me of a lot of female singers I've gotten into recently. Patty Gurdy, Adaya,
yeah.
G Wolf to some degree. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of female artists I'm going to bring on the show eventually. But this album is strange because there's not like a overlying sound through the whole album. Every song is 100% fucking different, and I love that though. I mean, it's kind of like this album is just like, all right, we're gonna take all these different singles, let's just put them on one album. And what the fuck? If people like it, they like it. And about the fifth or sixth song in, I went to YouTube because I'm like, all right, I gotta see what these fuckers look like, and like expecting to see some white Scottish guys because of the fucking brogue they have. I thought there were some white Scottish guys.
I can't agree with you more, man.
And maybe a hot Scottish chick, so I was like kind of hoping to see that too. But I find their YouTube and I'm like, all right, they have like one video where they're actually live, and I'm like, first I'm like, they're black? What? What? I'm like, nothing's anything wrong with that, but I'm like, they're black? They don't sound black, and not any stereotype by that, but they just don't sound like African American. They sound like Scottish. The singer sounds like a Scottish guy. They had some Scotch too, and they had that fucking brogue. There's no way in hell. But and I'm watching the video and I'm like, what the fuck is this that CJ sent me? I'm like, are these circus performers? Like Red Bear? Like, I'm like, is this a Renaissance band? What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, all right. I'm like, and I listened to the whole album. I'm like, all right, I fucking actually really enjoyed this. All these songs are different. All these songs remind me of different artists, like, but each song is different, like another artist. And I was like, all right, I follow them on Spotify because I'm interested to see what they do in the future. I'm interested to see which direction they want to go in. They are definitely a very unique band, but I enjoyed them immensely. I had some songs I liked a lot more than others, and they do maybe a couple many too many instrumentals on their album, but I mean, still, it was enjoyable. And I mean, it was a quick listen. It was only like 30-something minutes, so it's not like it was long. It was a quick listen, and you're in and you're out. It's not like if it was like an hour and a half long, I would have been like, okay, what the fuck? But it was like 30 minutes. I was like, all right. I'm like, this is enjoyable for this amount of time. I can't say it's a band I want to listen to on like I didn't like a lot of the songs on my list on Spotify because I'm like, I don't want to listen to a lot of this like every day of my life, or like even weekly. But overall, it was enjoyable to hear once. And I mean, there's some songs here that are fucking amazing, and I'll hope to hear them all the time. But we'll get to that in a minute. But CJ, what are your top 5 for Fortress Dwellers?
Thoranden Nadal, or how we say that, is a very cool song. The Mine is number 4. Trials of a Warrior is number 3. Devil's Gold is number 2. But my favorite, because it combines both the male vocals and the female vocals at the end, and completely sounds like a song that like somebody like the Young Dubliners or Fiddler's Green would perform. It's the song "Safe to Shore."
Mhm.
"Safe to Shore" is just a killer tune, dude. It's
It's
got that Irish vibe to it, but then she comes in at the end and sort of sings the female side of it, and it's sort of got this pirate vibe to it. But I mean, it's just a great fucking. The dynamics of it
yeah. I
are
mean,
so perfect.
it's got the most listens on Spotify. I'll tell you that much. But I think it actually had like 2,000 something listens already. So that's for a band like this, that's huge. But I mean, I know rappers that have that album's out for 20 years and they don't have that many listens on their songs. But Max, what are your top 5 songs?
So I really liked Trials of Warrior. I thought that was of a Warrior was great. Then Sad King. I love great instrumentals, man. When an instrumental can pull it off by itself, to me, that's the true talent of a great band. Then I went with the Little Rivers, and I really liked that song. And then I was the Thandra Nadal. That was another, the instrumental side of that is just fucking brilliant all the way through it. And I ended with Devil's Gold.
It's a cool song.
It is.
Yeah. And again, I think the great word for this album is I can't wait. Actually, it's funny. I didn't go look at them. I wanted to just hear them, and I'm so glad I didn't. That I found out that they were black on the show today, because that's such a fucking shocking surprise. I can't wait to now go take my wife and we'll go listen to them and go actually see them perform, because.
If you look at their album cover, you actually can tell once you know. Like you look at the album cover, you're like, oh yeah.
Well, I knew they had I knew the chick was black, because it's pretty obvious in the River song that that she's obviously a black woman. It comes across pretty profoundly in that song. But so I just assumed, and on the album cover, I just assumed it was it was her. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so amazing. Wow. That's so fucking great.
And I mean the costumes are really
the costumes are amazing, bro.
But
like you can tell the costumes are done by professional armor.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
But what an eclectic, to me, eclectic seems to be a great word to describe this album. There's just nothing that forces them into a particular genre. And
right.
So it's just one of those things that, I don't know if you've ever heard the band Dead Can Dance. They remind me a lot of them. They have a lot of feeling along the lines of Dead Can Dance. So anyway, I love this album, and it took me a minute. At first it was like, what the fuck? Because I kept expecting the guitar. I kept expecting the fucking shred. All right, here it comes.
I wasn't trying to fool you.
And it just never comes, and you just go, okay, now I got to look at it.
I know. I saw the fucking name Fortress Dwellers. I'm like, oh, cool, another Windrose?
I brought it because of the fantasy element, but I know Jeremy likes like other stuff too, and I thought it sort of reminds me, kind of going back to Sabbath. Richie Blackmore has the side project called Blackmore's
Night. Yeah, of course.
And it sort of reminds me of Blackmore's Night a little bit.
Somebody brought that on the show once.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar, or in style wise, to like what Blackmore's Night is. So yeah, I thought that was cool. But
actually, now you say that, I can hear that. But yeah, I was expecting a fucking Windrose or like War Kings type band. When I saw the album cover, I was like, this is right my alley. But my honorable mention is Little Rivers, because it reminds me of an Enya song, and after just hearing an Enya album not long ago for the first time, I was just like, all right, this sounds exactly like fucking Enya, but in a good way. My number 5 was Thandra Nadal. Amazing Scottish music, like interlude between songs. Number 4 was Tempest and Waves. It was kind of like the first song I really dug on the album, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Like they remind me of early Nightwish in ways. Like they remind me of early Nightwish in a lot of ways, with how instrumental they are, and the like very Scottish sounding music. But number 3 was Safe to Shore. That song's fucking a banger. Like that was the like I'm like, all right, here's a metal song. I actually don't say that song, but like Safe to Shore was a really good, almost metal song in a way, kind of, but kind of like a metal ballad in a way almost. But my number 2 was Trials of a Warrior, which that's the fucking metal song. That was fucking amazing. And then Devil's Gold at the end blew me the fuck away. I was amazed by how good that song was. It reminded me of some Maelstrom kind of, which I fucking love. So, but yeah, those are my top songs. I mean, the whole album was fucking. I'm glad I discovered them because I probably never would have came across them. I never seen a reel. I never have seen a reel on Facebook with them or anything. Like I might have eventually, but I didn't. I'd never have seen a reel on Facebook with them. So I probably never would have discovered them.
That's just it, man. That's what I loved about this, and I want to say thank you, CJ, because
I just thought them because they were different, and I thought they were kind of unique and different, and I just needed a change of pace from bringing the normal stuff.
Well, and that's just it, man. Fucking you, man. When you're so prepared when you look at the album cover for considering the three of us too. Just you certainly didn't expect that. And so that was
you never know what you're gonna get with me. So
yeah, no, well,
you really don't. You really don't.
And that's what was so great. And I went, oh my God, this is just so befitting, and I loved it. So thank you for sharing that with us, because it's a great contrast and change of pace and eclectic and just everything that, if you're just going to sit down and listen to something different, that's when like I said, I have a friend who's Irish as fuck, and I can't wait to send him the link to this because I know he's going to love it. And then I'm going to tell him about him being that they're all black, and he's really going to fucking shit his pants.
I mean, that's the point of this show. That's why I fucking started this show, is because it's a way to discover music you never knew fucking existed. I mean, Dog Fashion Disco, Polka Dot Cadabra. I never knew a lot of bands I love now existed. If Chance introduced me so many fucking bands when we started the show, that's ridiculous. But were you gonna say something, CJ?
I'm gonna let you guys finish with this last record. I've got a
you motherfucker. Motherfucker.
So let me put it in a nutshell for you real quick. Ronnie Radke is a fucking tool. So much so that he should have Black & Decker tattooed on his forehead. Mr. Everyone copies my style, but then I wrote an entire record copying Tom McDonald and NF. Like, the first 2 songs are the best NF songs that NF has never written. The next 3 are McDonald ripoffs. I love Jelly Roll, but Jelly sounds absolutely terrible on that fucking song. This record has 0 redeeming qualities, should be banished to the depths of hell, and I would rather have my balls dragged across a cheese grater than to ever have to listen to Ronnie Radke.
Wow, I'm shocked at that. I
am not a fan of Ronnie. I'm outspoken about Motley Crue, but I would rather have dinner 25 times with the guys from Motley Crue than to ever have to listen to Ronnie again. Ronnie is just a shit stain of a human being. So let me sum up my opinion of this. You guys are free to discuss it among yourself. Have an amazing night. Send me what next week, Max. I will get a hold of Jeremy so he can give me your contact.
Yes, please. I would really. You and I got a lot to talk about, brother.
All right, and you guys don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
Love you, brother. Thank you for sharing. See you, man.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Yeah, son of a bitch, CJ.
Oh. Well, you know what? You don't have to worry. I know. I love this album.
I know how he feels about this artist to begin with, so
why? I don't know. See, I don't know the history. I don't know the history of this guy. So
let me do my spiel, and I'll get into that in a minute. But
okay, go.
So the album I wanted to bring tonight, if you can't already tell by what TJ said, I I have a coworker at work who's a metalhead like me, and he showed me a video for a song called Ronald last year when it first came dropped, and it blew me the fuck away.
Right.
So I immediately immediately like, all right, I gotta listen to the rest of this guy's stuff and see what he does. So
Hmm.
I became a huge fan of Rodney Atkins' Balling in Reverse, which
Rightfully so. It's fucking great.
I
If you like
I
metal, it's great.
I was gonna bring this album on a couple months ago, but the guest I was gonna bring it on for said like I am not coming on a show that's talking about Rodney Atkins.
Why?
He has been found guilty.
Of
He was
murder.
found
I read that.
well. He was found guilty of murder and sexual assault years ago.
Okay. All right.
So, just like a lot of people are trying to hate on Marilyn Manson now for the same type of thing, not the murder, but the other part.
Right.
Well, I mean, he probably has murdered somebody. I don't fucking know, but knowing Manson, I wouldn't doubt it. So, I mean, I this is a perfect example of you gotta look at the art, not the artist.
Yep.
Because I
Yep.
mean, I fucking love his stuff, and I've been wanting to bring this on for a long time. And I'm like, you know what? When I have a friend coming on the show, instead of like a guest I never met before, I can be a little more free with what I bring on the show rather than just trying to make it sound something that's more general public like loving.
Hmm.
So I decided to bring Falling Reverse's popular Monster album onto the show because it's one of the
Was gone to vomit, searching for the sun, but I didn't go John Muhammad. So the devil's right here on this level, wipe tears. Cause when rebels ready to put the heavy metal, I fear. Abomination, they've been faking consecration, hating Western education. Got the killer on the killer, gotta chase him. Go! Go! Spiraling out of control and deeper down the rabbit.
one of my favorite album he did by far. It's just such a amazing album from start to finish. There's not
Oh.
I could literally rank every song on this album. It's a whole album is fucking just a grade A bombshell.
It's fucking sick. Every song is amazing.
And I get why people don't like him. I get why people think he's garbage. I mean, but he did his time, and he disappeared for years and did his time, and he is now like he's a huge star now. Like everybody knows his name. He's done so much with so many other artists. Everybody knows who he is. He did his time. He did his time. Maybe
Yeah.
what he did wasn't right. I ain't gonna fucking deny that. But you gotta look at the art. And I mean, not all people who are bad people make horrible music like Charlie Manson. Some of them actually make good music like Ronnie Atkins. So
Yeah.
I mean, I fucking love Falling Reverse, and Popular Monsters is a banger of an album. So I had to bring it on because I'm like, fuck it, I want to get one of his albums on already. And CJ is gonna be pissed because this is not the last album of his I will bring on for damn sure. But he has a lot of good albums and a lot of good. His earlier style is like kind of like high schoolish, like all about like crushes and fucking like heartbreak and shit like that. But this album is like his first adult album. To me, it's his first like mature album talking about politics and the world and all that. So I think he
So
kind of.
I'm glad you brought that up because I really want to talk to you about that side of this album.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he put it out after Trump got elected kind of like says it all. But
What was that they did what?
The fact that he put out this album like right after Trump got elected was a whole nother thing. But
right.
I mean,
So is it pro-Trump or is it anti-Trump?
He's definitely anti everything, but he's anti-government everything, like a lot of people. But
but to me, fucking, it almost feels like Zombified you almost could fucking get the feeling that it's pro.
I'll get to what I think about the meaning of the songs when I get to the songs. But
okay.
I mean, I love the way he sings. I love the way he changes his voice up throughout songs and the way he switches styles. Yes, he didn't invent switching back and forth between rap and rock. He definitely didn't invent that. Linkin Park was doing that fucking 30 years ago.
Yeah,
so
of course.
He didn't invent that, but he likes to think he did, and that kind of pisses CJ off too. I know because he acts like he did create it when he didn't. It's not. They're not stealing your style, dude. They're stealing a style that's been around since I was born, basically.
Yeah, no shit. Right?
I mean, fucking Michael Jackson and Prince switch back and forth between rock and rap all the time.
Yeah,
So,
no shit. Yeah, that's old. That's old school shit. It's been
it
around.
is. It is. I mean, it's old. It's old school. But I fucking love them. But let me hear, Max, what you think of Falling in Reverse's Popular Monster.
You know, I'll tell you how much I like it. Is I was getting ready to have a toe amputated, and the doctor, that the podiatrist that was going to chop my toe off, said, "What, Max? Pick your music to go to sleep to." And I asked him, I said, "Have you ever heard Zombified by Falling in Reverse?" And he said, "No." And I said, "You know what? Let's fucking throw down some fucking Falling in Reverse. Let's throw on some Zombified." And I went to sleep to lose my toe to Zombified. That's how much I from the moment I heard this guy's style, I was fucking hooked. I mean, it's just one of those. He's so clever and so catchy, and if I was gonna another band that I really liked, it they're quite a bit different, but have a certain similarity to them because of how catchy they are, is Gemini Syndrome. I really like. You never heard Gemini Syndrome?
Never heard of them.
Oh my God, dude, as soon as we get done today, go fucking listen to the song. The only song I want you to listen to first is Remember We Die.
I mean, I'm a Gemini, so I'll have to. But
oh my God, I can't wait for you to go hear this. Just remember this song, Gemini Syndrome, Remember We Die. Okay.
I'll remember it. I'll
okay,
check them out.
Anyway, I just fucking there's a style of great metal that just appeals to my soul at such a fucking level. And Falling in Reverse, man, from the moment I heard Zombified was the first song I heard from this album on like one of the rock radio stations in Twin Falls, Idaho, believe it or not. I was fucking driving to work one day and I heard it, and then I could go look up the fucking playlist, on the internet. And so I went and found it, and I went and found the album, and I started listening to them, and I was hooked. And then I read the lyrics to Zombified, and I went, wow, could it be possible that this guy is actually fucking, pro that mentality instead of what I was thinking. And so, but again, I'm one of those people who, and I'm pretty goddamn open-minded, I, like you're talking about, when people pay their dues and have paid their debt to society. Besides that, if we were going to judge rock and roll, if you were going to eliminate all the rock and roll, that the fucking guys who were singing in the band were fucking perverts and lecherous fucks who were banging 14-year-olds. Well, you already mentioned one, Jerry Lee Lewis. He was a nasty bastard.
There'd be no 80s or 90s music.
Right, exactly my point.
There'd be no 80s or 90s music besides fucking women. Exactly. And even then, some of the women would be fucking taken out too. So I mean, it's exactly what it is. I mean, you can't judge the artist. You got to judge the art.
Exactly, and that's exactly the way I feel. So I'm really with you in that aspect of this. And I just love the style of him so much that it would take a lot for me to fucking turn him off, just because the style of the music and what I like about this kind of metal is so powerful that it's easy for me to overlook a lot of negative bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, his songs are so fucking catchy. How could you not?
Oh, aren't they?
But I mean, I kept it to one honorable mention. I could have ranked this whole fucking album easily. I knew how CJ felt about him, so I wasn't going to overdo it and push my luck. But I should have made him do his fucking album last week when he left. But he probably would have been like, "Oh, can we do my album first? I gotta go to a show to do if he even does."
Yeah, but if he's that adamant about it, then
CJ don't like what CJ don't like. Trust me, I know that.
And that's okay. We all fucking.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. I did kind of just to piss him off too because I knew he doesn't like him, and I knew he was going to throw a fit when I did. But my honorable mention was prequel, fucking a well written fucking intro that's poetic as fuck, and the verses are the flow in the verses is incredible. So I had to put in my honorable mention because I love the prequel of this album. My number 5 is All My Life, which. I mean, it's Jelly Roll. I think Jelly Roll does great in this song. I don't know what the fuck CJ is talking about, but I think Jelly Roll does great in this song, and I love Jelly Roll's fucking chorus in it. All my life I fucked up and I can't deny, and I love like the woohoo like in the middle of it always like it's like after the chorus every time. It's fucking great. But my number 4 is the title track, Popular Monster, because I love the whole fucking song. I love the way he says Popular Monster in the chorus. And I love the guitar breakdown in the middle of it when it switches to the "Where the fuck is your God?" Like I fucking love that shit. Like that's such a good freaking transition. But number 3 is Watch the World Burn. Amazing flow in the rap verses. I love the rap verses in it. He does such a good job on them. And I mean, one day you're gonna figure out everything they taught you was a lie, which is like one of the truest lines ever. It's I wish I had R's like him, honestly. Well, I did to some degree, but I wish I had more R's like him when I was a fucking teenager. And my number 2 is Ronald, because like I said, that's a song that made me discover this man. And Ronald with Alex Terrible and with Tech Nine, such a strange combination of Alex Terrible and Tech Nine on anything together. 2 completely opposite ends of the spectrum of music. One of the most fucking amazing rappers of all time, and Alex Terrible, one of the most amazing scream metal artists of all time. And just to put them on a track together, I mean, Tech's verse in it is fucking incredible. And I mean, the whole song is fucking incredible. And the video is fucking amazing. So, and my number 1 has to be fucking Zombified. I fucking love that song. It's got the best opening lyrics of all time. Yeah. The monsters aren't living under your bed because they're the voices in your head.
In your head. Yeah.
I fucking like that's a Metallica almost like.
I was just gonna say it's so funny. It's just fucking straight out of fucking Enter Sandman.
It kind of is, but not
in a bad way, not in a.
I know. But they take it a whole other step further, and that's the great thing about it.
Yeah.
And the whole like "Welcome to America" part is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I love that fucking song. I really.
And the fucking breakdown in the middle of Zombified.
Yeah, I mean. Every song he does in this album has a great breakdown at one point or another.
Doesn't it?
I can't get over how. I mean, listening to this album today, I just was banging my head the whole time at work listening to it, and I'm like, I cannot get over how good he is. Like he is just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I can't wait till his next album drops and whatever the fuck happens. But he's got to live up to the Popular Monster, and that's a whole because all his albums before this were very high schoolish, and I don't think Zombified really is pro or anti-Trump in any way. I think it's just anti-government. I think it's just it's just a song. It's basically a.
But do you think it's about? See, that's my question. Is it about government or is it about us? I think it's about our fucking.
I was gonna say. I think it's a commentary on America. I think it's a commentary
on our fucking passivity. Yeah. That we're just a bunch of fucking zombies that have that have allowed ourselves to get to this point without fucking pushing back.
I think it's just a commentary on American society. I think it's all it is. It's just pure commentary. And I mean, it's just to me that's what it is. But I don't think he's pro or anti. He's not gonna say if he's pro or anti anything because he doesn't want to lose half his fan base for one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that either. That's why when I listened to Zombified, to me it was it fits down. To me, it fits the ideology that if you do nothing to save your society, then you will have no one to blame but yourself when your society is in ruin. And that's the way that's what I got from it. That's the way it made me feel.
So, what are your top 5 songs for Falling in
So
Reverse?
I would go. I would probably go. Watch the World Burn was fucking 5. Voices in My Head 4. I really like Voices in My Head. Ronald 3. Popular Monster 2. Zombified 1. And honestly, that's just a random ranking because they're all so fucking good. This is one of those albums where the whole fucking thing is just amazing from top to bottom. And I because we're doing this, I'm forced to make that decision. So I made it,
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's one of those albums that I can't really hate anything about.
And the voices in my head again is just
they're all phenomenal. I mean, they're all phenomenal songs. Wow.
Just like I said, we could sit here and talk about this album.
I mean, I would love to have Phil and Lisa do this on their fucking Aaron's audibles, but I know I could never get the 3 of them listening to this album.
Really?
They're not metal people. I mean, like, Phil is a little bit, but they're not really metal people. Like for this type of stuff, for newer metal like this. I mean, I'll try, but I've been rejected so many times by them for albums I've tried to get them to do, and they're like, we have such a long list of albums to do already that people have asked us to do. Like, we just don't. It's going to be a long, long time before we get to anything new. But I don't know. It's one of those things. But I love Rodney. He's fucking amazing, and I even like his earlier songs. Like, even though they're like kind of like immature and high schoolish type songs, like I still think they're fucking catchy as shit and fun. But
yeah, he's a little bubblegummish before this album, but it's still.
It was good though. It was good.
Still, yeah, it was good. Absolutely.
He discovered his apex version of himself with this album, though. But, well, folks, we've talked about 3 albums tonight, as always, and 3 good albums as well. So, no matter what CJ says, fuck him. But, Max, we want to thank you for coming on. You're definitely coming back at some point. I'm damn sure of that.
Well, I hope so, because we got a lot more to talk about, and I promise you, when you go listen to Gemini Syndrome, Remember We Die, you're going to fucking write me a letter. And I'm going to be shocked if you're not as fucking in love with them as I am, because that song is so powerful and the band really fits into this genre that you like. And I'm really hoping that you really fucking, that you like it. Please, when you go listen to it, just send me a text, will you? And let me know
I will.
Thought of it.
I'll probably listen to it tomorrow at work. But
please,
I got good headphones there, and I can fucking hear music crystal clear.
I can't wait for you to hear this band. They're amazing.
I'll make myself a note. But where can they find you, Max? Where can they find?
Oh, I'm on ASN, so if you just type in Daryl Peter, I'm on Facebook at Daryl Peterson. I'm on ASN all over the fucking place. Type in Maxx Payne to the Google machine, and you'll track me down somehow.
And folks, since CJ left where he could do it, you can find CJ at anywhere on social media as either Christopher Plain or Music God CJ Plain, and musicgod.rocks, or musicgodcjplain.rocks. But you could find both your musers on Facebook as Squatchy Largefoot, on X and the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard, and on YouTube, of course, as Maniacal Music Musings. Everything we've ever done is on YouTube. And, of course, we are also a proud part of the ASN for Life podcast network. You can find our videos, our newer videos on their YouTube as well. But come back next week, folks. I have no idea what I kind of have an idea of what the guest is bringing, but I have no idea what how else everybody else is doing. So I still need confirmation from the guest on what album. So come find out. We come find out. I have no fucking idea. But
And you know, if you ever need a fill in last second, bro.
Oh yeah.
Call me.
I know.
I come and be on your show in a heartbeat, bro. You know that.
I know that. I definitely will. Trust me. And folks, catch you next time.
Your bed, 'cause they are the voices in your head. Zombified by the lies they said, we become the walking dead. 'Cause everybody's on the edge. Oh no, they'll never let go. Something you said 10 years ago. They're canceling you. And they won't stop till everybody's zombified. They're pumping us with lies like it's formaldehyde. We're dead inside. It goes on and on, let this go. When it stops, we'll never know. We're hypnotized. And they won't stop till you're zombified. Your tongue, 'cause you don't wanna piss off anyone. We're traumatized by the damage done. Welcome to America.